Vitamins are good, and if you really need the antibiotics, as long as you don't take them on a regular basis. Like, we went to an emergent care because it was on the weekend, and both my kids were really sick, and I knew it was a virus because the phlegm, the mucus was green. If it's green, you need an antibiotic. And I go to this doctor, and he thought I was one of these moms that take their kids in all the time, and I had to explain to him, I think the last time she had antibiotics, she was 2 or 3, and my daughter is close to being a teenager. And then his face just lightened up. He, oh, really? I said, well, yes. I believe the immune system has to be strengthened, not weakened by antibiotics. But I don't see any way around. We had to have antibiotics for that. So, not on a regular occasion. Will I again? He needs to go to sleep. I keep getting these messages. So, tinfoil hat. You know what I mean by that. Oh my gosh. Well, anyway, those are just some of my viewpoints, and, a lot of the medical community would agree on the antibiotics to not overuse them because it does create superbugs, and it prevents your immune system from becoming stronger. And Stabitha Hugs he's in his element. He's typing away. Well, anyway. Oh my gosh. Really, Stabby? Come on. Do not. Well, there is meta-studies. I mean, the government, even Snowden talked about those quite a bit. And you can use algorithms. You can change things. You can market things to appeal to emotion. Like, that's not right. That's evil. That's good. That's godly. Where the people feel compelled to follow the marketing. I have a YouTube video. What was his name? I'm going to have to ask his name in the group. See, this group that I'm part of, they really challenge people to read and learn and, evolve. I've really enjoyed that. I have enjoyed that so much. Let's see, but let's go to a song as What If the Tea Party Was Black? I'll be back in a few minutes.
The main principal political voice coming from the right now is the Tea Party. And even though you have a Tea Party that's very angry, a very racist message, they're armed, oftentimes they're portrayed as just being patriotic and just wanting to do what's best for their country in America. And I ask myself the question, what if the Tea Party was black? What if these were black people? How do you think they would be portrayed by the media?
What if the Tea Party was black, holding guns like the Black Panther Party was back? If Al was Rush Limbaugh and Jesse was Sean Hannity and Tavis was Glenn Beck, would you harm their families? If Sarah Palin was suddenly Sister Soldier, would you leave it to the voters and go and get the soldiers? Y'all know if the Tea Party was black, the government would have been had the army attack. What if Michael Baisden was on your FM dial for 3 hours every day calling the president foul? Would they say free speech or find evidence how to charge him with treason like C's un-American now? Would a minister Farrakhan pray for the death of the commander-in-chief that he be laid to rest? Would they treat it as the gravest threat or never make an arrest? Even today, still hated for less. What if President Obama would have lost the election, quit his job so he could go talk to the left and bash the government for being off of direction, fraught with deception, and told black people they want all of our weapons and we want our own country and call for secession? Would he be arrested and tossed in correction for trying to foster regression against the people's lawful selection? Our question, what if the Tea Party was black, holding guns like the Black Panther Party was back? If Al was Rush Limbaugh and Jesse was Sean Hannity and Tavis was Glenn Beck, would you harm their families? If Sarah Palin was suddenly Sister Soldier, would you leave it to the voters and go and get the soldiers? Y'all know if the Tea Party was black, the government would have been had the army attack. What if black people went on Facebook and made a page that for the death of the president-elect we prayed? Would the creators be tased and thrown in the cage? We know the page wouldn't have been displayed all these days. What if Jeremiah Wright said that everybody white wasn't a real American? Would you feel real scared of him. If he had a militia with pictures that depict the president and Hitler, they would kill and bury that. Wait, what if Cynthia McKinney limited the winning of the new president and hinted he wasn't really a true resident with no proof or evidence? With the media treated like a huge precedent, they would have attacked whatever group she represents. They would have called her a coup on precedent, and any network that gave a due preference would be the laughing stock of the news. So our question is, what if the Tea Party was black, holding guns like the Black Panther Party was back? If Al was Rush Limbaugh and Jesse was Sean Hannity and Tavis was Glenn Beck, would you harm their families? If Sarah Palin was suddenly Sister Soldier, would you leave it to the voters or go and get the soldiers? Y'all know if the Tea Party was black, the government would have been had the army attack.
Everything that is getting pushed through Congress, including this health care bill, are transforming America. And they are all driven by President Obama's thinking on one idea: reparations.
Reparations, my ass. Oh, doesn't that just burn you? I think knowledge is power. I think we need to have a conversation on Spreaker of how we can evolve. If you want to do the trash talk, go to the dumpster or the trash guy. He'll fulfill that need for you. But I want to talk about ideas and what you can do to change your environment to a better environment. You know, it's very much like what they had said, that the We the People, Oklahoma, is an emergent instance of the new order. You could be part of that new order. It goes on to say, stretching across the world, working towards liberating humanity through militant transnational direct democracy. You can be a part of this. You can be a part of this. You don't have to stand on the sidelines, passing the popcorn as you watch these idiots do slam shows about each other. There's something more than that here. You'd be part of this movement. Come join us. We're open to that. And take a look. I'm sure Stabby is typing away. Yes, he is. I'm already like, what? Oh, come on. He's saying I'm putting people at risk for Ebola. I'm sure about my vaccine talk. And the Ebola, see, I remember, it's a hantavirus, which means it's transmitted through the air. It's very contagious. I got that from the USA Emergency Response Manual. Page 187. No, it wasn't 187. I wanted it to be 187. I'll remember the page, and it's at the top of the page, second paragraph. Oh, that's cool. My memory is really coming back. This is amazing. Yeah. Well, Stabby McCugs, you're saying that I backed off of what I call my safe vaccine platform. I am patiently waiting for the CDC whistleblower to have his day in court at the Oversight Committee, which will be a federal hearing. Last time they were going to have it, see, this happens every time. It was the Clinton hearings, the Benghazi hearings that are being held by the Oversight Committee that pushed our little hearing away. So it will happen. It has to happen. The same law firm that represented the tobacco whistleblower, Wygam, remember him? They're representing William Thompson, Dr. William Thompson. That's the truth. We're just going to have to wait. There was a lot of infighting, a lot of, what would you call it, egos in what some people call the anti-vaccine movement. I say we have to take control of the language, use a soft approach, and call ourselves Safe Vaccine. But that didn't go over very well. They wanted to be known as anti-vaccine. If you're considered antisocial, they consider that a person with criminal intent. The moment you write anti in front of the movement, it shows a criminal element. Is just wrong on so many levels. But they would not hear me, and that's okay. They lost their case in California. They tried to bring forth some forced vaccination laws in Oklahoma. The state house, state senate would not even hear it. I make calls. Hello. When you present the argument in a certain way, which is using rhetoric, it's a spin, you can get what you want if you know how to manipulate the system. And I'm talking about the system of marketing ideas. If you know how to do that, you can do almost anything. Is that right? Maybe not, depending on what you're wanting to get put through. But it is doable. It is. But thankfully, we have a very Republican state, and they do not like forced vaccination. So that's the way it is. Let's take a look here. Oh, Stabby, hugs. See, I allow him a lot of freedom in my chat room. He's telling me that my ideas are mostly trash. I'm glad you're not yelling N like... ludicrous BS? Oh, come on. Oh, in the Italian court, they proved that the MMR did cause autism. So I believe that's a European court. So answer yes. I'm replying to Stabby McHugs. Well, with the United Nations Mercury Conference of October 2011, they did prove vaccine injury in many different countries throughout Africa. That is why no longer are they supposed to, I'm sure they still do this, perform experimental vaccines on starving children, for example. They experiment on live human beings. They can no longer do that because of that Mercury Conference through the United Nations. And I'm so proud of Lisa. She's part of COMED. And she was a female from the WHO organization, the World Health Organization. And at this meeting, she asked Lisa if she had a child that was vaccine injured. Well, of course, Lisa has a child vaccine injured. No one at that group does not have, I don't think there's one person that doesn't have a child that's vaccine injured. She's also a minister of the Methodist Church. She's well respected. She's not a nut job. She's very soft-spoken, very polite. She's from Virginia, y'all. And so she asked her, do you have a child that's vaccine injured? Lisa says yes. This representative from the World Health Organization not only walks out on the meeting, she physically ran. Now you have to understand the United Nations, if you strongly disagree with what is going on, you leave the room. You leave the meeting. And that's considered a slap in the face to whoever was speaking, by the way. She physically ran out of the room. It was her only recourse, was to run like a coward. So there's been some great moments, some wonderful moments. And the infighting is real. There's affairs. I know so much dirt. And just this one woman started explaining herself. I said, stop. I don't need to know that. Keep it to yourself. And she's learned to keep that to herself. Because it's no one's business but her own. You know what I'm saying? To stay with what is at hand. Now I'm rambling on because I'm just on such a mental high, I guess. All these good things happening. December 10th, we had the Human Rights Award at the state capitol in Oklahoma City. And now our leader is Tulsan of the Year because he toppled this evil sheriff, who was guilty of many different things. Convicted or indicted on 3. One is a sealed indictment because it is so bad that they are afraid to release it to the public. And this sheriff, let me tell you something. Well, I'll read your chat in a minute. This sheriff is so full of himself, so narcissistic, that when the filing for sheriff came around, which was about December 7th through the 9th, I think it was something like that. He wanted to run for sheriff again. Hello. The citizens signed petitions for a Grand jury investigation. I'm shaking when I think.